Greatest ever manager then. It's a huge deal then who succeeds him. No pressure, but is there a replacement already lined up?
Yeah, we understand that Enzo Maresca is being lined up to replace Pep, which makes sense when you consider that he worked for this club before. He's very highly regarded by the hierarchy at Manchester City. Did a great job, for example, in the academy, winning the Premier League 2 title. Later was part of Pep's backroom staff, helped them as assistant to Pep when they had that magnificent season in 2022-23 that I referenced earlier, when they ended up winning the Premier League, the FA Cup and their first ever Champions League trophy. And he's a manager they've been keeping tabs on for some time. Now, Maresca himself told us, didn't he, around the turn of the year, that he had talks with Manchester City. So clearly the hierarchy even then was starting to have conversations with potential candidates to replace Pep in the summer. Pep obviously highly regards him, and you'd imagine that his view will be part of this decision-making process, given how important and pivotal he's been to the football side of things. And the supporters here that I spoke to at the Etihad earlier, they can understand also why the club would move in that direction and go for a familiar face.
I'm excited for that. I think he's proved to be pretty good in the Club World Cup. I saw his performance with Chelsea and I think it was pretty promising, so it's exciting stuff.
Enzo's been here before. I saw the Club World Cup. Chelsea was so impressive that, I mean, they battered PSG in the final, if you remember. So obviously hopeful. It's going to be difficult for anyone, but I think he's got the club know what they're doing. We trust the club, so fingers crossed.
Anyone who follows Pep, it's going to be very difficult. But he seems like he's a good manager, so he's been here before, like working under Pep, so I think it should be hopefully a good transition. But yeah, I wish him the best if he does come.
One thing that Enzo Maresca will have to get his head around is the Manchester weather. It was absolutely hailing, and we had gale force winds a minute ago. Serene and bright now. That's what Enzo Maresca will be walking back into. For Pep Guardiola and his players, they're on the seaside. They're down at Bournemouth for a huge game. It's a pivotal game in this Premier League title race. After Arsenal's win last night, Arsenal very much hot favourites now to win the Premier League title. But City, to take it to the final day, need to win tonight. And it's a tricky match. It was always going to be their most difficult fixture of this run-in, especially coming just 3 days after an FA Cup final at Wembley. Bournemouth themselves playing for European football, and it's a game you don't want to miss. 7 o'clock, Sky Sports main event, 7:30 kickoff. Pep Guardiola has just 2 matches left as City manager, and it'll also be interesting to see what he says to the media around that game about his own future.
Fascinating to see that, Ben. Thank you very much for now. Stay dry if you can. Well, for more on Guardiola's likely successors, you can see our chief correspondent, Kaveh Solokol, is here. Kaveh, you would think City would have their pick of managers, so why Maresca?
Well, Enzo Maresca is a brilliant manager. He is somebody who has worked at the City Football Group before. He was one of Pep Guardiola's assistants when City won the treble. He did a really good job at Leicester City, winning the championship there, getting them promoted. The players there loved him. Look at what's happened in Leicester City since he left. And by and large, he did a pretty good job at Chelsea as well. You can't look back at his time at Chelsea and say it was a complete success. There were lots of ups and downs, but at the end of the day, in his 1 full season in charge, Chelsea ended up qualifying for the Champions League, winning the Conference League and also winning the Club World Cup. It's been an open secret in the world of football that if Pep Guardiola is going to leave Manchester City, then Enzo Maresca would be the person who would be taking over from him.
Arteta was another one of the apprentices, wasn't it? But things have developed a very different style of football to the one favoured by Pep at Manchester City. How different will Maresca be compared to Pep? Or will he be more similar than maybe Arteta?
I think he'll be similar. He plays a similar kind of football. He is very into possession, positional play, very technical. Some of his previous players have described him as somebody who coaches a football team as if he's playing chess. He's somebody who's incredibly hard-working. He spends most of his life at the training ground, poring over data, statistics, watching games from the past, and also one-on-one in a big game. I think he's one of the best managers in the business. I was at the Club World Cup final last summer in New York when Chelsea played PSG. That was a full-strength PSG team. Luis Enrique in the dugout, they did not know what had hit them because Enzo Maresca had come up with such a great plan of how to beat PSG. So I think if he gets the Manchester City job, he is somebody who can be a great success there. Obviously, it's going to be difficult to follow Pep Guardiola, but I think he has what it takes to do that. Having said all that as well, it's not going to be totally plain sailing if, a lot of ifs, if Pep Guardiola decides he's leaving, if Man City decide that they want Enzo Maresca. It won't just be as easy as picking up the phone and getting Maresca, because of course he's still contractually tied to Chelsea. When he left Chelsea at the start of this year, I still think he had 3.5 years left on his contract. His departure was very, very acrimonious. I imagine, although I don't know for sure, that lawyers are involved, and I would imagine that lawyers would need to get involved again if he was to move to Manchester City.
Might affect his severance. Carve, thank you very much for now.